Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar today. My name is Michael Loy. I'm a business development manager with Titan Workspace. And with me, I have my colleague, Kalpana Burma. She is the assistant vice president of product and service delivery with Titan Workspace. So the agenda of today's webinar is to, say no to paper-based processes and utilize the, automation processes for all your business workflows. So are you still sending emails for your leaves and holidays approval? And what about your employee onboard and exits? Uh, how about your purchase order? Maybe your vendor onboarding as well. So I would like to ask if you are still doing all of this manually. So I would also like to help you supercharge a business with process automation, maybe from your IT department, be it from your operations department, be it from HR department, or any other department in your organization. So as you know, digital transformation is the key today, right? All your processes can be automated, be it your expense approvals, be it your vendor payments, your leave requests, your travel and booking, all other processes can be automated easily. So process automation in M365, here are some of the applications, or here are some of the options available. Approval application is one of the options, although it is still really complicated. Custom coding, you can automate your business workflow using custom coding, using SharePoint again. You can also use Power Application and Power Automate tools, which is also again really complicated. And for complex workflows, you'd also again need to use coder or coding engineers. And then you also have your third-party tools like Nintex, which I would say on top of being complex is also really expensive. Now, I would like to introduce Titan Workflow Automation Tool. I would say that it is the fastest and most cost-effective way to build and launch your workflows in MS Team. It uses SharePoint and Power Automate as well. So what is the benefit? You would be saving 80% of your costs, and then it is a no-code, low-code solution. You do not need to have any SharePoint or Power Automate skills, and you do not even require any custom development as well. So it has a fixed price. We will be charging per workflow per year only. So with this, I would like to hand over the call to Kalpana. She will be giving you a brief demo on, the workflows.
So hello everyone. I will be giving a demonstration of this workflow automation tool. Now I will be highlighting some of the key features of this tool, like how fast we can build the dynamic, like the flows, as well as assign some role-based access, controlled access to various steps of the flows. We can create dynamic forms. We can place the fields within that form dynamically, as well as just pick and choose the validations and apply the validations without a need of any technical skills there. And the forms which comes out after using this tool, that form is completely responsive both for desktop as well as mobile. Then it gives a feature of free e-sign as well as PDF generation. And then there is an integrated dashboard, which is available for all the processes. So if there are multiple requests coming from various processes, that can be seen on a single screen. Moreover, some users who are like having M365 business plan, they don't have to go and buy the Power App licenses when they're using this particular tool. So the demo which I'm going to give you, it's going to be in 3 steps. The first step, the employee exit process. So what exactly is this process? So in some of the organizations, if an employee has resigned and is serving his notice period, before actually he is given the clearance, he has to get clearance from a set of departments. So for that, he has to fill a form, submit it, and then that form has to flow through different departments for the clearance. Right. So this has 3 levels of approval, the process which I'm about to show to you. 3 levels of approvals are there. And at every step, the stakeholders can approve, reject, revert, or forward. So these are the actions available. There is a provision to attach any number of documents at any step, be it an initiator or any approver. And there are a set of validations also, which I'm going to talk about. So let's actually, before I jump into this tool, I would like to show you how this tool looks like. So this is how the tool looks. This is the dashboard for this tool. You can see two tabs here. Inbox is where all the requests which are coming to me for my actions will be available. And outbox is where all those processes, all those requests which have been initiated by me will be present. So all I need to do is just raise a new request. And from the list of processes which are available within the organization, I just have to choose one of the processes. So let's look for the employee exit process. Here it is. And I raise a new request. So as I already said, it has three steps of approval, right? So there are different sections for all those approvers. So first it has to go to the IT section. As we can see here, first the action is by the IT, then the HR, and then by the finance department, right? And on the form, the initiator's name and the name of the reporting manager, they're auto-picked. So if we look at it here, whoever the initiator is, the name of that initiator would come auto-populated, and the reporting manager's name would also be coming over here. So the employee has to just put the designation, let's say sales executive from the sales department. So this drop down again has been created just by picking and choosing. I don't have to do any coding there. Employee location, let's say some location. And there is one validation on this date, the date of relieving and meeting the HR. They are only the future dates and have been set to the default date. So today's date has been put here by default, and you cannot choose anything from any of the previous dates. So this is the validation which has been added. So it can vary depending upon your requirement. But what I'm trying to show here, it's very easy to apply these validations simply by choosing. That's it. You don't have to code for this. Now the employee has to mention what all assets he had, issued during the time he was serving within the organization. So let's say the laptop was there and there was one mobile. That's it. Now there are different sections for each stakeholder, but only the relevant section to the current stakeholder will be available for editing. So for employee, only this is available. And then I just go here and submit the form as an employee. Now it has to now move to the first approver, that is the IT department. So I have put my name in all those departments so that I can show it on my dashboard how it looks. So as a person from the IT department, I can see this request coming on my dashboard. Okay, so all I need to do is click on this action here and take the action. So there is a section relevant for the IT department, only that will be open for me to make changes. The rest of the form will again be hidden, disabled rather. So this is the section which I have to fill as an IT personnel. So IT assets returned, yes. Optional comments, that's it. Now there are different actions which every approver at each stage can take. I can either approve, this will take it to the next step. Reject is going to stop the flow here. Forward will have three variations. I can either add it to one more, I can add one more person to the current step, or I can add a new step altogether, or I can forward it to some person for the reviews or the comments, right? This is, for now, I'm just going to approve it. So this is what I can do with the forward. And again, revert will allow me to revert it to any of the previous steps if I have to. Let's say if there is something wrong with the form, some information is not correctly filled, I can always revert it back to the initiator, or any of the stakeholders can move it or revert it back to any of the previous steps. So for now, I'm just going to approve. I have some optional remarks to fill. I may or may not fill it. I simply approve and submit. So the action was simply to approve, review and approve. So I've done that. So now it has to move to the next step to the HR department. That was the next step here. So this is the dashboard of the HR department. Now the action button again have to be pressed by the HR department. The form would open again. So that section which is relevant to that department will be available for editing. Rest will be disabled. So this is for the HR section to fill. Exit feedback, meeting taken, yes. Meeting date, it is currently by default filled as today's date. I can change it. And I have just put a validation that it should allow only the current or the previous dates. ID card returned by the employee, yes. Comments, optional comments by HR. Again, I can take any of these actions. And you can also see the history is building up at the bottom here. So I click on approve. Now it is asking for my signatures. So I can either type my signatures here. I can add an image of my signatures. I have already saved my signatures here as image. So I can just pick from this image and I can add it here. Or I can draw my signatures, right? So for now, I'm just adding my image and then I'm going to submit it. Again, optional remarks. So once I do this, this has to go to the third and the final step, which is the finance department. So as you can see, this is the dashboard of the finance department now, and this is where it has landed. So the finance department person from that department is going to just open this, take action on this, and fill the details in the bottommost section, which is there for the IT department. The rest of the form, as usual, is disabled. So all dues clear, yes. Comments, right? And again, approval can happen. You can see the history is getting built up and approved. So this was the final step. Again, I need to either type my signatures, put an image or draw. I can just say, put my signatures and submit. So this completes all the steps of the approval. Now, once that happens, it obviously disappears from everybody's dashboard because it's been approved now. But the initiator can always filter out and look for the approved requests and open the one which was there. So you can see the progress. The last step, there's a flow which runs behind. So that is yet to get fired. So you can see the progress. It shows how many steps are there and how many has happened. So the third one is left. First two have happened already. Now, I can actually, as an initiator, if I want to just create a PDF out of this form, which gets created at the end here, I can also do that. So this is the final form. This is how it looks. Now I want to generate a PDF. I can even decide what all I want on this PDF. The company logo is already there. If I don't want it, I can remove it. The name of the company, you can see, you want it or you can remove it. You want the history also to be there, or you want the report with the QR code and all to be coming over, you can do that. Else, you can actually pick, again, from one of the offices. I may have multiple offices, so I can just choose what address I want here. And some custom text at the bottom of the address, if I want, I can put it here. Let's say office copy, and I click on submit. So this actually is going to download a PDF, generate and download it. So here is the PDF. You can see, got downloaded. This is how the final form looks with everybody's signatures. I opted to add history at the end, so you can see the history also. It got added here. So this is how a process can be run. So this process can be defined only by a particular role, which is a process admin within the organization. And that process admin need not be a developer or a designer. Any business user will be able to create any new process here. Okay, and coming back to my second process here. So just now I showed you a very simple form and a very simple workflow. We can actually, I can show you how complex a form can be using this tool, right? So there are some complex validations, some calculations which are there within the form, which with the help of which this purchase order process has been created. So this purchase order is again like it's for some if somebody, let's say within the organization, creates a purchase order by the accounts, let's say purchase order has been created and submitted, the accounts actually has to take some action on that, and then it has to go through some signatures by authorized signatory, and that's how the flow is. So, but then if you look at the form here, see the steps again can vary from organization to organization, but just I'm trying to show you how complex a form can be built here. So if you look at this here, um, I'll just open that form and show you how exactly the form would look. So I'll raise a new request for this purchase order process. Let me look for that process here. Okay, this is the purchase order process, and I just raise a new request. So what all can be done with a form using this tool, you can see a glimpse here. The purchase order, the PO number, it's having a set format with a character limit of 10. So the format says it has to start with a PO hyphen, and then you can put anything after that, but it cannot go beyond 10 characters. So that's a limit which has been put here. You can do that also. Order number is getting auto-generated here. Auto-generated with a set format again. The format is, it has to be prefixed with an A, and it has to be suffixed at the end underscore the year 2022. And it has to have a running number which goes like 1001, 1002, 1003. So that's how it is getting auto-generated, and you know nobody should be able to edit it. So that's a validation which has been put in here. You can do that level of validations also. The PO date, again, it says it cannot be a future date and has been set to the current date. So I can choose from any of the previous dates, but not the future date here. The department, as usual, it's a drop down. The initiator's name is coming auto-populated here. Sorry, it's coming auto-populated. And the custom due date, that's been built with a logic wherein it says that it has to be the current date plus 20 days. So that's how it is automatically getting calculated, the due date. Again, some more validations. The mobile number is prefixed with the country code. You can, and it has to be having a limit of 10 digits. So you can see here the mobile number, vendor's mobile. Here you can put the mobile number, but it has to be prefixed with a country code. So for India, it's +91. That's the prefix which has been put in here. Rest of the fields are normal text fields. And then if I were to add multiple items here, there's a table also available wherein you can add any number of rows there. So I have item, let's say I001 here. Let's say mobiles, and the quantity is, let's say 7. The unit price. Now the product of quantity and unit price is calculating the amount. That is the calculation which has already been put in here. On top of it, there is a tax, a VAT tax of 10%, which has been applied, and the net amount is getting calculated like this. So this is the kind of validation which has been added here, or the calculations which have been added here. That is something which is also possible. And you can also see all the totals of all the numeric fields are also coming at the bottom here. I can add more rows. I can add, let's say I002 jobs, let's say 10, 1,000, let's say. So this is, you can see the totals are getting calculated, and in the same manner, the net amount and the total. And moreover, you can see the total payable amount is also getting calculated as it is here. If there is some service charge which has to be added on top of this net amount, let's say I say 2%, so that gets added on the top of this, and this payable amount is getting calculated. Maybe there is some transport cost also of, let's say 5,000 on top of it, that also gets added here. So I can add any number of rows. I can delete the previous rows. That's how it is. So multiple values and the calculated fields I just showed you. Plus, you can see this note. If I want some static text, some terms and condition to be put in here, I can do that. So this is how the form looks. Right. So this is just to show how complex a form can be. Like you can add any complex calculations or any level of validations you want. So that's about it. I'll hand over back to Michael. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. So now I would like to understand from. So now I would like to, highlight how we are offering Titan workflows. So we are offering Titan workflows as a service, right? Um, as a BPaaS tool, basically. So you will not need any SharePoint skills. You will not need any designer to build these workflows. They would, and then, you do not require any big budget. in order to acquire workflows. And then you do not require any project management, and there is also zero risks involved as well. So you'll only pay as you go live, meaning that you can test our solution, work with it, make all the changes, and you'll be paying only once you go live. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it is chargeable per process, annually, right? And then it will again be deployed on your M365 tenant, and the one-time payment covers all your support and changes for features as well. So meaning that the one-time payment that you made during the purchase will also again cover all the support or all the changes that you require from that workflows for future as well. And then other than Titan Workflows, I would also like to highlight that we Titan Workspace is also building other modules as well. What we are doing is we are basically simplifying the whole experience of SharePoint. We also have this ready-made Teams application that delivers the mentioned solutions below. We have a document management tool, a workflow automation tool, a simplified project and task management tool, and a modern futuristic intranet as well. So by opting for this solution, you would be saving 80% of your cost and 90% of your time as well.